Salutations, and welcome to the third podcast in the series English Sovereigns. In this episode, we shall be talking about the brief reign of King Aethelbald. In the previous episode, I described a portion of Aethelbald's life, in that he quite daringly and cunningly managed to steal the throne and the kingdom of Wessex from underneath the feet of King Aethelwulf, who had been returning from his pilgrimage to Rome in the year 855. This is why Aethelbald's reign is sometimes dated as beginning from 855 and then of course ending in 860 when Aethelbald died, instead of from 858, which is when Aethelwulf himself died. So that largely suggests that Aethelwulf perhaps nominally remained king, but that was it. Aethelbald really was the power behind the throne, and indeed he did become the proper king in 858. Apart from that, he didn't really do much else in his life. I mean, he probably did do a lot more, but we just don't really have the sources to show it. We do know that he married his stepmother as soon as he became king, so that was Judith, who Aethelwulf had picked up from the king of the West Franks, Charles the Bald, as Judith was Charles the Bald's daughter. At the time, this was not really condemned by the church, or again, at least, there's not any evidence that it was. But later chroniclers, such as Asser, who wrote the life of King Alfred during the reign of King Alfred's reign, so it's one of the few primary resources we actually have from the era, described Aethelbald as iniquitous and grasping, which is quite damning, although he might have been trying to beef Alfred up a little bit by doing down his predecessors. But the point is, it wasn't condemned at the time, and was only condemned much later, so I'm not sure you can really read too much into that marriage. We also know that Aethelbald did not rule Kent, because Aethelbert, his younger brother, was still in charge of Kent, was still the sub-king of Kent, and there is no coinage from Aethelbald's reign save that of Aethelbert, who issued his own face on the coin of his own kingdom in Kent, which suggests that Aethelbald didn't really have sovereignty over Kent and that he was not really a ruler of a united Wessex. Aside from that, there isn't really much else to go on, so this episode is going to be quite short today. His brother Ethelbert succeeded him in the year 860, and there isn't too much, therefore, to evaluate from this. So, thank you very much for listening, and see you next time. Goodbye.